Hi everyone, here at South by Southwest with the cast of Boundaries. I love this movie so much. It just made me laugh and made me cry, and also I just loved it. And also it made me think, it's like, oh, California has some more enlightened ideas towards marijuana.
Good.
So I especially loved everyone in the film, but especially Christopher Plummer. I just felt like the last thing I saw him in was All the Money in the World, and so then the next thing to see him in was this. What was it like working for Christopher? Because at 80, I did the junket for All the Money in the World. He's going. Yeah. He is not an octogenarian by any definition that I have.
He was doing 12 pages a day, 12 pages of dialogue a day. And in and out of that car, shooting 12, 14-hour days. One day he had pneumonia. Didn't stop him.
Yeah, he did.
He's pretty amazing, yeah. And then just a gift, an absolute gift to have on set. I think he made every single one of us better, right? Would you say?
Yeah.
And then, so this was based on a true story. So, Shana, tell me how you came across it and how you decided to write it this way and everything.
Yeah, well, I think I just really wanted to write something that felt like me. I really wanted to find my voice again as a writer and a director. And so the easiest thing was to write about my two first loves, which is rescuing animals and my father. And so I wrote this road trip movie, and it was very cathartic for me in a way, because I got to work on a lot of relationship issues that I have with my own father and kind of discover my own voice with him, and some of the anger that I'd been feeling and a lot of the love that I had been feeling, and kind of celebrate and explore our relationship.
Yeah, that's the one thing I felt about it when I watched it, is it made me initially think of my dad, who my biological father had a troubled relationship, and I feel like this is the one you have to give to that friend that maybe has that, and here's a gift, maybe that'll make you think about that. So I don't know what yours is, but did you have that moment with it too, where you thought about?
I think we all have parental issues, tissues. I mean, who doesn't in some degree, and we all have to sort of voice those issues.
Yeah.
Be it anger, be it resent, be it lack of respect.
Yeah.
So we got to find voice to it,
So you're essentially playing her. You, not really.
Very exaggerated version. Yes.
But what was that like, essentially?
Really didn't talk about it because I was in such denial that I didn't even know.
I think that's what it. Yeah.
And maybe you were too polite to tell me.
And it wasn't per se I didn't have a huge magnifying glass, and I had met you way before. I had met you several years earlier. I had cooked dinner for her in my house, but mutual friends, and so there wasn't. I felt it's so easy with us just to click into each other right away. There's no really get to know you. I think we've, but I don't know. I think what happens is you. Yes, I'm aware that I may be playing her, and I wasn't necessarily going for that. I wasn't trying to translate her gait or her
because I'm too boring.
Frequency.
It would have been so boring. You've got nothing on screen, a blank slate.
Writing. Don't get me wrong. I know it's hyper-realized. Anyone who sees the film would definitely be she didn't really do everything in it.
But it's so little about me. It's about throwing all these crazy, zany other actors and see what happens energy-wise, because frequency changes every time one of these stellar actors would show up, like Christopher Lloyd, Christopher Plummer,
Bobby Cannavale.
Oh my God.
Bobby, okay, I don't want to talk about that because he's a theater background, and as soon as he came in, I was like, I just knew that this is going to be a chew the scenery role, but anyway, we'll get into that later. But talk about being in the car, because I feel like any movies that are shot long time in the car. Louis, tell me about what that was like, because those are fun.
Well, yeah, the car was certainly an experience.
It's another character
it was good,
in the movie. It really is.
It was great. I mean, I was sitting in the back seat of it with about 4 or 5 dogs on top of me, and as well as that, there was an animal wrangler lying down below at my feet. So yeah, there's a lot going on, but it was really good fun. Yeah.
I've seen when I talk to actors that do long car movies, there's always games that you play, because really the car's rigged up with cameras all around, and then they're just kind of pinned in there. So did you guys have any fun games or anything that you did, music that you put on in between shots?
I don't think so. Our car didn't work in that way. We didn't have a radio like the car radio was. It was a vintage car, so it's not hardly anything worked in this car.
But I kept rolling a lot when you guys didn't know, and I got some really lovely moments of just laughing and interaction, and I used used a lot of that stuff actually.
Oh, you just like
I
put
just
it
kept
into
rolling.
the
I was like,
later-
don't call cut. I called cut, but then I just said keep rolling, and we just got some nice moments.
I can't remember if we played I Spy with my little eye. Maybe I'm just confusing it
I
with
think
my
the
own
dogs were
kids.
Exactly.
Exactly. Most of what took up our time in the car was just playing with the dogs and everything.
Yeah.
Really. So.
Again, so did you guys keep them back there even when they weren't in shot? Like,
Well, that's the thing about animals. You just can't. You can't.
Yeah.
Well, you do have to give them breaks. You
Yeah.
have to give them pee breaks and poo breaks and
Yeah.
and water breaks and all of that. But at the same time, you also have to keep it zen for them because they're such sensitive
Yeah.
little beings that they pick up on everything, whether it's the emotional life, like that's the anxiety or the anger or the whatever's going on. That I remember there was this one scene where there's like 5 people in a bed with 5 other animals in a bed, Christopher Plummer, us, and Kristen Skull, and we had to, like, it was a sweaty, hot day, and we're all sweating all over each other. And, like Christopher Plummer's armpits are sweating on my neck. And
A lot of people would pay a lot of money for that.
and yet we have to pretend that we've been sleeping for several hours, and then the animals have to also be in a very zen state, you know. And
You have to wait.
you have
A
to wait.
lot of time for those
So
animals to fall
say,
asleep.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like you made it very difficult for yourself. I was going to ask you about, I feel like anytime writer-directors, you write the scene,
Yeah.
and then you as the director have to take the hat and then direct it, and
Yeah.
then maybe the director hates the writer part of themselves.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling the 4 dogs was the thing that you probably...
The dogs, the 50 locations, the old, Rolls Royce, totally not dependable. Your limited hours.
Yes,
yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
I love.
You're doing the rule that you never do,
Yes.
which is, no offense, I love you.
Yeah.
Kids and animals.
Kids and animals. Yeah. An old car and
Yeah.
road trip and driving. Yeah, exactly.
So did you beat yourself up as the writer on certain days?
You know what? Of course, there were some really long days where I was like, I totally asked for this. But I think that's what makes a movie really special in the end, is those moments.
We're here at South by Southwest, and I think it's really great that this year, I don't know if you've noticed, but a significant portion, more than half of the women in both competition, both director and feature, it's women directors or co-directors.
Is that true?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's 12 out of 20 total is female co-director or director. Look, I love your face because that right there says.
Is that like historically the first time in any film festival?
I don't think so because there's a lot of film festivals that are female focused. Yeah, but I would say it's pretty great for a major film festival, and I love the fact that although it's great for South by, they didn't call attention to it. They just picked the best films. Yeah, and obviously it's run by Janet Pearson, who's so great, and having your film in it. So have you talked to your fellow class of Sundance 2018? Because there's you and Julia Hart, and there's just like a ton of just ridiculously talented women directors here this year.
Yeah, I mean it's incredibly impressive, and I'm lucky just to be back in Austin because I went to grad school here, and this is such a special town for me. So when I was in grad school here in Austin, I could barely afford like a burrito, and now I'm here. I couldn't afford a badge at South by Southwest, and
Nobody can.
I know, yeah, it's true.
Like you basically make a movie to get a free badge. Let's be honest.
And when I would watch, I was watching Richard Linklater, I was watching Robert Rodriguez, I was watching who was there. I was watching a lot of male directors, and this was quite a while ago. So to know that fact, that over half of us are women here, that's awesome. It's really cool. We were going in the right direction.
Well, thank you guys so much. I love the film. I thought it was so cute. And I want to ask you on the last question, what's the fake weed? Because every set has a different fake weed that they use. What did you guys use for the fake weed?
Or is
We
it
used
a
some
real
really
herb?
non-moving plastic weed in the beginning that was pretty bad, and then it was
Yeah.
oregano, right?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I was just curious because I feel like every set has different like fake weed that they use, and then I've heard on some sets that maybe not so much fake. y'all were in BC, so I'm just wondering.
There's a mix of everything on our set, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.